I always like to start out with kind of an audio check. Wanted to see, can everyone hear me? And if not, please send me a message on the chat that you see there. Thank you. All right, appreciate the feedback. Okay, so just a quick introduction. My name is Jose Galvin. I've been working here for a couple of years. I have a little bit of a tech background, not a veterinary background, and love working for Vin. Enjoy applying tech to um, see people achieve their goals and fix problems. And this one in particular is a lot of fun because there's a lot of questions about where Google gets their information. So I'm going to ask another question. If anyone wants to proffer up their website as an example or their veterinary practice, just go ahead and send it to me in the chat, and then I will use you as an example. I don't want to say a guinea pig, but we'll definitely use you. What were the listings, and when we talk about these listings, what we're referring to is how Google views you online. SEO, which is short for search engine optimization, has to do with two main areas. One of them is the on-site SEO, which are the things you do on your website. For example, the actual pages, the content, the images, and things like that. So that way, in case somebody does a search, we can find them. So they will come up for any particular search or anything like that. And so that's the on-site SEO. That has to do with the actual structure of the page, the content on the page, how the page is put together, and that sort of thing. The off-site SEO are the things that have to do with the outside forces, things that are connecting to the site from other locations. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and put in my doctor. Oh wait, are they cleaning? Oh, there. Okay, so I'm going to use this one for now, unless one of you volunteers. So here's Midtown Animal Hospital, and this site here, which is moz.com, it's a third-party website. They do a lot of SEO support and training, and they sell services, obviously. They want you to purchase their items. But what we can do here is we can get a general feel for their online presence. So in other words, online listings are places where we have an actual, just something, maybe the address, the phone number, hopefully the website listed, and that will in turn point back to the website and improve its SEO. When we look at this, we see that they have a presence here in Google, Facebook, Foursquare, Super Pages, and several other directories. This is one list, and I like this interface because it's fairly simple. You can see, okay, in general, out of these 12 that they've picked, we're up in 76th percentile. This isn't the be-all, end-all, but it's just a really good general view of your listings. You can also find out if something is incomplete. So for example, on this one, their Google profile, there's room for 3 more photos here. for example, here, this one also has place for a photo. And if we go to the inconsistent tab, we see that there's the name of my doctor, Katie True, in the name of the title itself versus the name Midtown Animal Hospital. You want to have the name of the practice, the address, and the phone number. The acronym for that is NAP, N-A-P. You want to have all of those three things consistent across everything that you do. Even though it's a small factor, it's still important. Notice that she has just Midtown Animal here without a www, but yet here we have the www. The good rule of thumb is if you've got your printed materials already, printed up, go with that. If you've got a long domain name, North Pittsburgh Veterinary Hospital and boardingfacility.com, maybe you don't need the www. Otherwise, your business cards are going to have really small fonts. It's going to be really long. And honestly, people don't even need the www anymore. So if you want to make it a little cleaner, these are sort of trending toward just the name of the domain. But if you already have it on printed materials and the domain name isn't that big, springvet.com, that's okay to have the www in there. The key word is just to have them be consistent so they're the same across all these different things. Okay, and we also notice we've got a duplicates page here. So here's places where there's another listing where we need to kind of fix this. Look at this, True Katie DVM, Rose Nell Senador. So there's a whole bunch of different ones here for the individual doctors. I think at one point this must have been kind of a thing that happened, because I see this happen from time to time. But the bad thing about having this is, since we've got this name in here, well, we don't have Midtown Animal Hospital, or we have this sort of diluting the brand. You want it to be consistent, and if you have these different variants and kind of versions, then things can be a little dicey. It's not going to stop you 100%, but it's going to affect it, and we don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to bring over another window here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why these links are important. This program here is called Google Webmaster Tools. It's a communications tool, really. It's a way of speaking with Google, and you can tell people, or you can tell Google, hey, come by and take a look at this page. We just updated this one. Or here's a site map, which is a listing of all your websites, all the pages on your website. Come take a peek. We've of 20 pages that we've submitted, Google has cataloged 19 of them. And there's other things. For the purposes of today's conversation, though, I'm going to look at what's going on here under search traffic. And these are things that Google has determined to be important. I'm going to say search engines in general, but we're talking about Google mostly. Bing, of course, is the big second place winner, and then there's all the other directories of search engines that are out there, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, and things like that. So if you look here, Google is telling you, well, here's what's important. These folks have a staggering 22,000 links. So these are other pages that have a link to their website. If your practice is just starting out, you're going to have nothing in here because there's no sites that are linking to you, unless you've got maybe a post on a message board or a tweet or something on social media, whatever the case may be. So here you can see that somebody has had links from Foursquare, Yellow Book, WordPress, which is a blogging platform. So there's all these different, and these are legitimate websites. News and Review. This is our local kind of, progressive paper. A lot of ads for different different things in the back. Every town has one of them, and so I think maybe they've won an award or something, and so that they're coming up with that. there's thousands of them here under Yellow Pages, which leads me to believe that there's all the different iterations, right? Because there's going to be Sacramento.yellowpages.com, Davis, um, Oak Park. Every neighborhood basically has a subcategory under yellowpages.com, and if they're near a certain business, there's a little bit of duplication that's happening there. But the point I'm making, what's important is that these links matter. Having these links over here lets Google know that, yes, this is a legitimate business, this is a legitimate website, and it's kind of a vote of confidence. The more of these that we have, the better. And so, some of these hospitals are going to have a lot more than others. I'm going to go ahead and check another one here. This is another client that we host, HarveyAnimalHospital.com, and they've got about 75. Again, some of the same things: Yellow Pages, Yellow Book, Google, Yahoo, Foursquare, these different things. ABC News, maybe they're in the news for some reason. All of these things count, and so in order to take control of your online listings and your presence, the first step you're going to do is just get an assessment of where you are. So here we can see that they need some of these to show up, and so if they need to create one, let's say they didn't have any of these, the very first step is to go to Google. Let me go ahead and bring it up here. And you may have an account already set up. So the place to go is business.google.com. Go ahead and send that out. This is the first stop on this always, because it's the most important one. Obviously, they're the biggest search engine, and it's the first place that feeds into lots of other things. If you've ever done a search, so here's their listing. Let me try another one. All right, so you see how we've got this, the map that shows up, and your ads, and then the actual organic results down here. Everything that comes from here comes from the Google profile. So if, for example, these guys, I'm going to go ahead and use someone else. All these pictures are pictures that they've uploaded using their Google. They're not things that are just automatically, sent up. And so all this information, editing it, responding to the reviews, all of that comes through here. So we don't have a lot of posts or anything, but we can certainly message people. We can go ahead and check that. We're here, but it's not like we have, we've got an office here. It's not like people just show up, or it's a drive-through, or we've got a customer service window. So it's a little different. But what you can do through here is you can respond to reviews. So if somebody says something, you can go ahead and reply to them. You can add photos of the practice. You can, find out some insights. You can change the map location. And they even for the maps, or I'm sorry, even for the photos, they've got these different categories by owner, by customer, interior, exterior, at work, team, identity. They've got all these different things to kind of give you a direction on where to go. Okay, so when you first come to business.google.com, you're not going to see this unless you've lucked out into logging into the account that you're already there. If you're creating it, though, you're going to see something like this. And when you see this screen, this is where you're going to go ahead and then put in the new information. I'll do one right now. And I just had a client go live. Let's see, nope, it's still coming up in the old one. Let's try in here. All right, so and these guys are in Chippewa Falls. Let's do this. It's neither of these. Oh, is this you guys? I have someone in the chat that's asking about this one. I apologize if I didn't want to put you. I'm really excited to have you one of the folks that are responding in the chat window says that they just went live. So yes, congrats. Yeah, I've been working with, oh gosh, who have been sending me emails? Someone very nice. I'll just Pam. Pam has sent us some messages. Yes, thank you. She's been very kind, very patient as we've gone through this process, and so that's great. So yeah, so this the street address information. Let me go ahead and pull it here. And what is the phone number here? We'll put in veterinarian. And I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to take control of the site. I'm just going to go to this part just to show how the process goes. Because, like I said, this is our client here, and we're excited they went live. We want them to then take control of this. So, so here is the map, and what I'll probably do is have another phone call with the folks there. We're going to log in with their email address, fill out all this information, and then you can move this. So see right here, it says set marker your location. You can actually move this thing to wherever it needs to go. I'm not even going to try because I'm a California boy. I'm through and through. I've never been to Wisconsin. It seems lovely but cold. I have no idea where this would be. But let's say it's in the wrong spot. Maybe it needs to be on this side of the street, or you know, completely other side of town. You know, sometimes Google looks at something and they look at the it's called they'll see 128th Street, but maybe it's 128th Street West versus East, or maybe they call it Highway 17 instead of, you know, Grand Forks Road or whatever. So you have to, you know, this is a way of getting in there and really taking control of that. So what I'll do, and after you do this, what you'll see is they're going to send you out. They're going to ask whether or not you would like to verify the address and the practice. And so you're going to get a screen that will then, and I'm not going to do it because, like I said, I'm in the eVetSites account. We don't want to take control from this. We'll let them do that. Probably have a follow-up conversation with them. And then what we'll do is Google will either give you two choices. They'll send an automated phone call, or they will go ahead and mail you a postcard, and the postcard will confirm, you know, where you're at. It's just to kind of prove that you're actually where you are, and that sort of business. And so once you've got that, the mailing of the postcard and everything takes about a week, 2 weeks at the most, and then you can excuse me, you can always give us a call and we can walk you through that. And then when you have that, you can then go back in and you'll have a nice little location here where you can manage it, and you'll have access to all of these things here. And you'll have a nice little verified, which gives your clients and visitors the peace of mind that it's really you and it's a legitimate thing. And that's always nice to know, because then you've done that. The Google one is the most important. I can't stress this enough, because this is number one for your search engine stuff. It feeds into YouTube, Google Plus, their social media, the map listing, all that sort of business. And so, like as you can see here, I talk about what we are. I've got our website, and so if I need to edit anything, I have I can put the hours in, um, and these are all the listings: search, map, and the Google Plus. So these are all the places where you can have control over things. Maybe you've got a different URL for appointments, kindness AH slash, appointments or whatever. You can add more photos. All these sorts of things are important, and people see them because they're on there. Okay, so I'm going to give you all another list here. All right, and I don't want you to be dismayed. 50, yeah, we're not going to use all 50. So this right here is a list of directories. And by the way, the process that I just described, where you sign on, you put in your information, you confirm it, and you verify, and then they send you a postcard or whatever. It's pretty much the same thing for all of these. I like this list better than the Moz one, because this one has it has different ones. So let me go back here for a second. This has 12, and some of these super pages, localese or whatever, I've got a feeling there's some sort of political reason for them to be in there. This one, on the other hand, I'm a little more, this top 10, I'm a little more confident of these. So, Google's number one, Bing is number two, Yahoo's number three. I completely agree with the order that these are set in here. Honestly, if you just do the top 10 right here, that'll really take care of most of them. And if you really, are kind of a perfectionist, or you want to just make sure every I has a dot and every T has a slash, you could go through the rest of these. Some of these are kind of smaller than others. Again, U.S. directory, City Slick, they're no way are they as important or as big as Facebook, Yelp, Yahoo, Bing, and Google. So I would start here, work your way down. If you do one a day, or if you just want to call me, I'll be glad to walk you through some of these. We've got this program, TeamViewer, where we can log in remotely, and then I can just walk you step by step. I do this with a lot of our clients, and it's great fun to go from 0% to being all over. And so Bing, same thing. You would also set it up with Bing Places. Let me see here. Let me go back here because I think that I've got one of these. All right. So here is the eVetSites listing. I've already gone through and filled it out. But again, here's the thing. Same thing. They're going to ask you for the name of the practice, your website, your address, and then as you go along, they're going to ask you about the website category or the business category. We could talk about what you do, and then you could put in a little description. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow something since you already got a nice thing here. This is good. Good enough. It's the truth. And there we are. Now, if we wanted to add photos, we could. I suppose I could probably put something in there, but I don't have anything off the top of my head, so we'll just do that. Um, and we'll just skip this for now because I always get confused by the Eastern and Western time. Okay, so if we want to go ahead and do this postal pin, let's go ahead and resend it. And here it is. Again, same thing. They're going to mail something. They want to make sure that somebody's actually physically there. There's lots of ways of faking emails and things like that. The majority of these are going to be verified with postcards and phone calls, where they'll call you. An automated system will say, "Hey, here is your PIN number," and then you put it in. So I'm going to put in Kitchen Jose. Okay. So all right, so they're going to mail me a postcard, and it'll probably arrive in the next, week or two, and then it go back in. So this is a lot like the Google one. I encourage you to do this one as well. Bing is the second largest search engine. Um, a lot of people don't understand is that when you first buy a computer, you're going to get Microsoft Edge or Microsoft whatever this thing is called, and then if you go do a search, hey, look, we're using Bing. So it's important to have that so that you can then, um, have a presence here on Bing as well. Sometimes people will say, oh yeah, I need to improve in Google, and then they'll call me and they'll be all here. Yeah, so see, I'm doing this, and we're not ranking very high. And I'm like, okay, well, we can work on that, but they're not in Google, they're in Bing, and there's though the mechanisms are the same, they are two completely different companies, two different set of servers. Bing is obviously the Microsoft one, and Google are the folks down down in the Bay Area. And so it's important to have a presence in both. Um, these listings are not, setting them up. It's not very technical. It's just kind of a tedious process. Probably the the best advice I can give on them is to have a little, like a notepad somewhere where you can just write down the usernames and passwords. So for example, I had my browser remember this one for eVetSites at Outlook.com, but I've got like a stack of these. So if I were to go here, see here, we've got all these different ones, all these different eVetSites accounts, and then you're going to have different accounts for all these different places. So if you pick either a password scheme or something like that, that'll help you. And then, like I said, if you just do one a day, in a week or so, you've crunched through the majority of them. Honestly, the top 10 are, again, the best ones on here, and then you can go ahead and worry about the other ones later. Um, but just checking to see that you're on that list is the first step, and then going through these is the second one. If you have something else, if you ever encounter one that asks you for money, um, don't don't pay, because the biggest ones up here are all free. You shouldn't have to pay for a directory listing. If someone's asking you to pay, um, I'm not going to say it's a scam. There's some of these that are legitimate directories that are asking for that, but I'm just saying it's not worth it. You shouldn't have to, because there are so many others that are free. There's maybe like last I checked, and I haven't gone through this list, but last I checked, there's like maybe 2 or 3 tops that ask for money, and I don't remember which ones they are. I just know that they're somewhere down in here. It's one of these, like, Show Me Local or Info USA. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. It's not the do not shell out the 30 or 40 bucks or whatever that they're asking, because you can do all this for free. All right, I'm going to take a break here to take a sip of this coffee, and then I see some comments coming in. Does anyone have any questions about what we've covered so far? How long does it take? Okay, that's a great question. All right, so this right here, how long does it take Moz to update? All right, so this Moz kind of overview, if we were to go in and make those changes, and let's say for a fact, let's say that Google wasn't on here, Facebook and Foursquare were all gone. If you add them, this is actually kind of slow. And so you'll have, I've seen it where people are they're just busting butt. Let me use one of my other ones here. These ladies here, some of my favorite people. Oh, great. So they, at the beginning of the year, had zero, like straight up zero. It was a brand new practice. We're talking like, there was concrete slab at one point, and then they had to build the building, and these 2 doctors got together and built the practice literally. So they were at zero, and now they're at 60%, which is, I'm over the moon over this. It took a while for the results to appear here, but the immediate effect with the searches was a lot sooner. So if you go and the timeline goes like this: you fill out you start to claim your listing. There's going to be the verification. You wait a week or 2 weeks tops. So then there's that part of it. And then there's another week or so for Moz to then display the fact that the thing is updated, sometimes more. So it's actually like 2 or 3 weeks from that point. But once you've got the listing in there, Google will start rewarding you fairly quickly. So if we go to, where did we go? Webmasters, that's the one. Got a lot of tabs. So again, this part right here updates fairly quickly, within a couple of days. So all told, the process will take a couple of weeks for every listing. If you're a new business, I know there's a couple of you on the call. If you're an established business and you're not sure, we'll run the test and we'll check. If you're a new business, this is crucial stuff. I urge you to message me either on the chat, support at eVetSites.com, or just give me a call, 888-332-5316. We need to get started on it because, even if you're still working on the site or we have lots of people that sign up that have brand new practices, or maybe it's a new practice because something has changed. One of our clients, I'll give you an example. We have some clients that went from having a brick and mortar location for their practice to moving towards a home care system where they drive out to help the clients at their location. So kind of home visits. And that changes it completely because you're having a whole different listing. It's no longer on the maps, and there's special things there that we have to kind of do for that. So the whole process, again, a couple of weeks, but don't let that discourage you. Like I said, these, at the beginning of, in January, these folks were at 0%. And now months later, we're at 60. Could they do more? Probably. There's still some sites that are, incomplete right here. I'd like to, and I know that we've spoken, but I think that what happened is they're just busy, and so I'm glad. I'd rather they be busy than not. They've also got a really cool tour. I like to share this. They had a photographer come in. It's one of these Google verified or Google whatever photographers, and they have the setup so that you can do the tour of the hospital as though you were in Google Maps, which I think is really cool. Cost a couple $100. I don't know the exact amount, but as you can see, this is like when the thing was first built, absolutely pristine. None of these things have been used. They're all super excited, and we were certainly excited to have this go live. If you go here, you can Google the Google certified photographers, and again, this is kind of like the same sort of thing that you do in Google Street View, which is super, super cool. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, and so the 60% here, if they really wanted to, on this particular one, they could go through and fill out the rest of these. Honestly, I don't know if they've done the 50 already. They've done the biggest ones, and like I said, they seem to be pretty busy. I should probably give them a call just to see how they're doing. It's been a bit, so, and we're excited for these guys. Now we're going to have to submit this site to Google Webmaster Tools so that Google knows that the site is up and running, and that there is a. I wonder if it's in here. Nope, it's not in here. All right, well, we'll make a little to-do list for myself. Okay, so we've covered how to do the listings. Will you be submitting for kindness, or do we do that? We can do that for you. Well, so two things. I can certainly set it up. You've seen me talk about Google Search Console. You maybe have heard of Google Analytics. We can set those up for you for free. The question is, will we be submitting? So I'm not sure which submission. As far as submitting the new website, we can do that, and then we can share access. So, for example, I set this up for a client yesterday, and then we gave her. This is under our email account, and then we shared the account with their Gmail. Let's see here. Do you have? So one of the questions was if we'll be submitting it. So we can certainly do that for you. Um, all we ask is that you set up a Google account. So, and if you don't, you can set one up. Here's how you do it. All right. So here's where, if you don't have an account, and I'm speaking with one of our clients right now, and we can certainly add access to to your practice and do that. If not, here is where you can set one up. A really quick overview of this. You don't have to use a Gmail account. You can use your current address. So, Jose at whatever.com, and you fill out the information. A bit of advice here: don't choose anything that makes you under 18 or 21, because then it just changes the whole. Well, it changes your ads. It changes a whole bunch of things. There's certain things that you can't do with permissions. Uh, and then just keep track of it. Use a mobile phone that you have access to. A Google account is a great resource I know that there's lots of people that say, "Oh, Google is too big for their britches," this, that, and the other. I understand that, but this is, we're here to help you navigate and do the best that you can. This is a free service, and it'll allow you to do quite a bit of things. By you taking control of these listings, your listings are going to be out there. There's going to be a uh, a presence, however small, for their practice regardless. If you're an established practice, there's going to be listings that are kind of auto-generated. There's going to be things that clients will submit on your behalf. It behooves you to wrangle these and to take control of them, so that then you have control over what's being said. Um, we've all probably run into a situation, maybe on Facebook, where you find a website and they're talking uh, about something, and maybe it doesn't have the correct address or the correct information. And I apologize if you have to hear that banging in the background. They're working on something here in the building. By you taking control of the listing, you can put in the correct information, and you can present, like these images, the information that you want to go ahead and share with people. So here's some hospitals. Um, here's some pictures of the hospital. They redid it recently. As you can see, there's this nice, facade here, and this nice big sign and everything. Parking is still kind of small, but maybe you wanted to crop out this big blue building and just go straight to this. Maybe you wanted to zoom in and just show that, maybe without an SUV in the front. You can do that. It looks like this doctor hasn't yet. I'm going to give her a call anyways, because she's my vet, and we still want to go ahead um, and and help them however we can. She's also a veterinarian. Um, so, but again, see right here where it says suggest and edit. I can't tell you how many times the well-meaning but well-intentioned clients or potential clients suggest edits, and the information is totally wrong. So like the hospital will be like across the street or in the wrong section, or maybe it's misspelled, or there's all this other stuff. Google will give some weight to these edits that people suggest, especially if there is no input at all. On the other hand, if you go ahead and you go through the process of doing the Google My Business, then what's going to happen is they're going to say, okay, well, look, they've done their due diligence. We know it's them. We sent them a postcard. They went through all the problem of setting up this email and getting the phone call or the postcard or verifying it or whatever. So they're legit, and we know that that's where they have to go, and so and that helps everyone, right? That helps Google because they're delivering a product that has accurate and up-to-date information. It helps you because you're presenting your best foot forward. So can't stress this enough. They're simple things, they're free. You don't have to pay anyone to do this. If you would like to, you can. But I always like to point out that these things are all, like, for example, these guys. If you wanted to, see up here how it says analyze, review, package, sign up, and purchase. So they sell a package like that. And I honestly don't know how much they charge. Um, if you're interested in something like that, um, there's other companies out there besides Moz. There's these guys here at HubSpot, which also do a similar thing. They have software and marketing things and stuff like that. Uh, but 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 believe me when I say this, that everyone that's on this call can do this. If you can fill out a form, if you know your username and password, if you know where your practice is located, you can fill out that information on any one of these and submit um, your information. Oh, what the heck? So, for example, here, if you wanted to go ahead and sign up, uh, for this one, see here how it says claim your business page. Here is the one for Yelp. Oops. Nope, I don't want the app. I have the app. All right, so here is where I'll go ahead and put this in the chat as well. If you wanted to go to Yelp, here's where you would do it. Again, you would put in your information, the business name, and again, the process is very similar. You're going to go through, you're going to confirm. A quick note about Yelp. I know a lot of people are unhappy sometimes with Yelp because there's a lot of people that complain on there, and also there's some legitimate concerns about how Yelp as a company asks folks to, there's questions about them asking people to pay for favorable reviews. My advice or feedback on it is that if it's just another place for you to go ahead and to have some input, and some input is better than no input, regardless of all the controversies with them. You can go in, you can create a place. So here's one that's already claimed, and so since she's already claimed it, oh, whoops, that's not the one. Here we go. So see, here's all these different photos. There's some ratings in here, and it just gives you a chance to respond. So if there's somebody that you wanted to, let's put the highest rated. They've helped out all these people. Here's some kind words, and so you can respond to them. Let me look at the poor ones here. It's just the one that really. Yeah, and as we all know, some of these are sometimes unreasonable. There's not. They haven't really responded. And they haven't on some of them because they haven't responded to the different things. On some of them, you can go ahead and sometimes there's no point in responding to them, and sometimes there is. You want to be able to say, we're sorry that you feel this way. We've tried to do X, Y, and Z, and you take the high road and you're on there. The other part of it is that the bad will certainly outweigh the good. So you can go ahead and kind of see that when you go on there. It's what I do when I go traveling, or if I'm looking for a restaurant or something and I don't know anyone in that town, I'll look at the Yelp reviews and just kind of say, well, 3 bad ones, 40 good ones. I'll take my chances. There's always a bad day. There's always a time when someone is understaffed and all that sort of thing. So I'm not gonna worry about it. But again, you have to be there. And if you don't have the listing, you can't respond at all. So that's the other thing for that. Angie's List, Merchant Circle, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good one. There's not so much SEO on this one, but the nice thing about signing up for your business in LinkedIn is that it's a great spot for finding help. I've talked to a couple of doctors that have done that, and if you're looking for help or you're having a hard time finding folks on there, that could give you an edge because they're going to see that. They're going to see their associates. Maybe there's some kind of movements going back and forth from another hospital in the area. It's another place to go ahead and do that. There's a little bit of a benefit from the linking of the site to yours. But there's the other part where you're in a place, there's that networking opportunity of dealing with perhaps other staff, and if you have staffing needs, that's one area where it can help you. Okay, wrapping things up slowly here, so I'm going to go ahead and do my usual plugs. I want to thank everyone for showing up, and I guess let me ask again, does anyone have any other questions regarding all that we've covered? I know we've done quite a bit, and hope we can make it understandable. It's not a complicated process. The steps are pretty simple, but I know that the overall picture may seem a little overwhelming, like why do we need to do this stuff, or what's the point? Google already has our information and all that. I do not mind repeating any of or all of what we're doing. In fact, I do it all the time. I've got another appointment in about a couple of minutes with another gentleman here in town, and we'll be glad to help. But if you have any other questions, let me know either through this interface in the chat window. You can also shoot us an email, support@eVetSites.com. And I invite everyone on the call to follow us on social media. We are on eVetSites.com Instagram.com/eVetSites, Twitter.com/eVetSites, and I had a Facebook one. There we go, Facebook.com/eVetSites. If nobody has any questions, I want to thank you all again for showing up. I'll keep the chat open for another couple of minutes. And if I don't hear from you, I want to wish everyone here in the U.S. and I guess even our Canadian neighbors a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all.